Geico presents college football on CBS Sports Network. Yeah, it's raining sideways and cold in Laramie. What else do you expect in November in the Mountain West? And what a rivalry game we've got. Colorado State and Wyoming. And these two teams still very much alive for a shot at the Mountain West Conference Championship game in the Mountain. Colorado State at 4-1 and Wyoming is at 3-1. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Adam Archuleta. It's a great rivalry. They first played it in 1899. You've got bowl implications, championship implications, and Laramie weather. Mix it all up. This should be a lot of fun.
We have everything. It's November. We have two football teams with championship aspirations. They're rivals. This is what it's all about. Now, the way the Mountain West is this season, it's anybody's game. Colorado State, they went out. They control their own destiny. In Wyoming, maybe not where Colorado State is, but if they went out, they can find themselves right back in that Mountain West championship game.
Wyoming's headliner is their quarterback, Josh Allen. Slow start this year. Great week last week.
Well, 28 touchdowns a season ago in electrifying fashion. And he has failed to live up to those expectations so far this season. But last week was the Josh Allen that everybody was waiting for. His best game of the season. 5 total touchdowns, Rich. 4 of those through the air, 1 on the ground. That's the kind of football they need to get back into that championship game.
Other side of the ball in Colorado State. Most explosive weapon in the Mountain West, maybe all of the West. Michael Gallup, fine wide receiver.
So excited I get a chance up close and personal to watch Gallup play today. Look at those numbers. That's not the Mountain West. That's college football. Number 1, 130 yards receiving per game, 72 touchdowns. He does it all and has completely been dominant against Mountain West competition this season.
Mike Bobo, all bundled up, wants to erase the sting of last week's loss at home to Air Force. And Craig Bohl has done a marvelous job of turning this program around. 3 national championships at North Dakota State. 2 losing seasons to start, but last year a bowl game and a spot in the Mountain West Conference Championship game. The weather, 45 degrees, 25 to 30 mile an hour wind. It has just started to rain. And so it could get wild here weather-wise, which it usually does in November in Laramie.
I think that's what you get here in the mountainous region that these two football teams play, and it's going to be fun.
Colorado State won the toss, elected to receive. That one sails over the head of Dietrich Clark. Not official game until the cow arrives with the Chick-fil-A starting lineups. Nick Stevens, very good quarterback himself for Colorado State.
He has had great production since he's been the starting quarterback here. You look at his numbers this season, 62% passer. Those yards, 2,755 yards and those 22 touchdowns. The key for Nick Stevens in this game is ball security. 3 interceptions a week ago in that loss to Air Force. He must take care of the football against this defense.
Got a 2 tight end set with Fackrell and Butler in there. Stevens has got Dalyn Dawkins in the backfield, and it's Dawkins on a pitch. First carry. This is a very good Wyoming defense, and they stopped Dawkins. Revante Holt made the stop. Now Colorado State offensively, Dalyn Dawkins, their feature back.
Well, we just talked about Nick Stevens, but this is an offense that has great balance. When they've needed to run the ball, they've ran the ball. When they pass the ball, they've been able to pass the ball. Dalyn Dawkins had an exceptional game last week against the Air Force Falcons. Only 13 carries, but he hit them for about 141 yards. He can hit the big play.
No gain, first play, second 10 here. Izzy Matthews with the carry, and Matthews is swallowed up after just 2 yards. Wyoming defensively, very, very good. And a big-time ball-hawking team. Their defensive ends cause a lot of havoc, Granderson and Prosser.
Yeah, both off the edge. This is one of the best defensive end duos in the Mountain West. Carl Granderson has been absolutely perfect this season. On the other side, Prosser, more of an undersized guy, but the Colorado State Rams offense really concerned about his quickness off of the ball.
They're down 8. Right now, Colorado State is going into the wind. And it's a stiff one, 25 to 30 miles an hour. Blitz comes. Stevens has time. Sideline catch. That's Gallup. Looks like he has the first down. And he does. Just past the sticks.
When you think about Michael Gallup, a season ago, 46% of his receptions went for first downs or touchdowns. You see that the speed that the cornerback out there, Rico Gafford, has to respect. He slams on the brakes. Perfect timing on the sideline and a much-needed first down to start the game for the Rams.
Some enormous Saturdays for Gallup this year. Last week, 161 yards on 7 catches. Dawkins straight ahead. Dawkins runs into Cash Maulia, and the sophomore stops him right at the 40-yard line. It's a 4-yard carry.
I think Mike Bobo knew that coming into this game, they wanted to establish the running game. They knew that, hey, this is one of the better, if not the best, secondary in the Mountain West in terms of passing yardage. Getting that run game going will be key for the Rams.
Dawkins breaks loose. Midfield Dawkins. Sideline 30. And he's carried out of bounds at the 25-yard line. Dalyn Dawkins had a 76-yard scamper for a touchdown last week. That's 36 yards.
Yeah. Almost the exact same thing that he did a week ago. He absolutely splits the safeties. You see the safety, Marcus Epps, cannot get there on time. Beautiful job by the right side of that offensive line. Nicho Garcia, Ben Knox clearing the way for Dawkins.
Dawkins right away, and it looks like Mike Bobo wants to establish the run, something they did not do with a lot of consistency, or have not done with a lot of consistency, but it's been Dawkins and Matthews so far.
Yeah, if there's one place you want to test the Cowboys on defense, is their rushing defense. We just talked about how good their secondary is. What a way to start out this game. On the ground, right downhill, punch the Cowboys in the mouth. Perfect drive so far for Mike Bobo. Now it's all about, can they get points?
Second down, 9. Play action. Stevens for Gallup, and it's through his hands. Good coverage there by Tyler Hall, the sophomore corner. You noted the defense against the pass. 5 interceptions last week, 14 interceptions in 8 games.
It's a confident group outside. The cornerbacks, Rico Gafford, Marcus Epps, Tyler Hall, Robert Priester. They know because of the pressure that their front can put on the quarterback that that ball has to come out quickly, and they make a lot of plays on the ball.
8th play of the drive, 3rd down, 9. Blitz comes, Stevens hit, and it's incomplete. Pressure from everywhere.
Right off the edge of Stevens' left side. Unblocked player. Again, what a play by Wyoming. They don't blitz a lot. They're more of a standard defense on 1st and 2nd down, but their defensive coordinator, Scotty Hazelton, loves to dial it up in those 3rd down situations, and they get home.
Now, this is 41 yards. The wind has died down for the moment. Good strong leg for Wyatt Bryan, and he's got plenty of it. Wow, that's impressive. Knocks it through. Colorado State first possession on the ground, and 3 points to show for it. Border war here, big rivalry, and a 3-0 start. Colorado State's first touch, 3 points. Our first visit down below with Jenny Dell. Hi, Jenny.
Hey, Rich, as you mentioned, this is the first matchup. You have to go all the way back to 1899 looking at Colorado State and Wyoming. Tonight is the 109th meeting between these two teams. This game, appropriately nicknamed the Border War, as these two teams are 65 miles apart. As tradition goes, yesterday, ROTC from CSU cadets ran the game ball from Fort Collins, 39 miles to the Cowboy State, where the Wyoming ROTC took it the final 26 miles right here to War Memorial Stadium. Guys, all time, the Rams hold a 58-45-5 advantage over their rivals to the north.
All right, thank you, Jenny. And neither home team has a win in the last 2 years. Wyoming went down to Fort Collins and won last year. Colorado State 2 years ago won on this field. All right, bring back the cow. Let's do some Chick-fil-A lineups. And let's meet Wyoming. And Josh Allen, what did you see on tape last week?
I saw a quarterback that played more in the structure of his offense. Now, this is an offense that is still in November, still trying to find themselves. Been well documented, well talked about how many players are missing off of last year's football team, but things are starting to come together a little bit. I see a little bit more trust between Allen and his wide receivers. The key is to get off to a great start.
He's got 4 of those wide receivers on 1st and 10 from his own 25. And a little toss. Trey Woods outside. And Woods has a gain of about 7. He lost a lot of weapons, did Allen, from last year. James Price, though, is starting to emerge on the outside, the junior wide receiver.
Well, he missed the first 3 games of the season, so he certainly didn't get the start that he wanted to. But he's one of the guys, now that he's had a chance to play a little bit, get involved in the lineup, is starting to be the most steady guy out there and the guy that Allen loves to target downfield.
Austin Conway in motion. And a flag stops things on 2nd down and 4. Brandon Cruz, our referee here in the Mountain West, on what is turning into a chilly and wet evening in Laramie.
Well, kind of a similar start to last week. Remember, the first series of the game, they had the big play down the field, but a couple of penalties on that first drive put him back. And I know Craig Bohl would like to have a better start, especially with Colorado State opening up with 3 points.
Yeah, Allen hit Price on a 75-yard touchdown first drive last week and was called back on a penalty. This is Woods. And then Woods back up to the 28-yard line. Colorado State still looking for an identity defensively. Good linebackers. Josh Watson is their leading tackler.
Yeah, they got a bunch of players on that side of the ball who made a lot of tackles. And I know that, you know, watching the games and watching the tape, talking to their defensive coordinator, Marty English, pretty relieved that they don't have to play another triple option football team. They feel like their defense and their personnel is more suited to play against the offense such as Wyoming.
3rd down and 7. Shotgun for Allen. Blitz comes. Allen unloads, and it's incomplete. C.J. Johnson was in the pattern. Allen had to throw a little early.
Got Max McDonald, number 31, coming off scot-free to his right side. Not a lot of pressure right there, and I think you watch Josh Allen, and so much talk about can he play at the next level. Certainly he has the arm talent, but some of these easy throws, the underneath throws, the intermediate throws, the ones he should complete, too many misses so far this season for Allen.
Brendan Fulton is deep for Colorado State. Tim Zaleski to punt for Wyoming. Sort of a line drive that lands inside the 25 and is out of bounds at the 23. Border war, rivalry game, big implications. Mountain West on a Saturday night in Laramie. Our Tops crew gets your NFL Sunday started tomorrow morning, 8 Eastern. Don't miss that other pregame show presented by Kubota on CBS Sports Network. Alvis Whitted was a track star, turned himself into a great wide receiver, ended up in the NFL, drafted out of North Carolina State, 9 years in the league, and now is a terrific wide receiver coach. Whitted is put a few guys in the NFL already, and next man up is Michael Gallup for sure.
You know, you can't coach, Rich. Can't coach speed. Alvis Whitted cannot teach these guys how to run faster. Boy, that guy could fly.
But he has certainly taught Gallup how to be a better wide receiver. Did a nice job with Rashard Higgins and Joe Hansley as well. This is Dietrich Clark. Nice to have him back for Colorado State. He has a lot of versatility.
Well, he's missed some games, injuries, wasn't only at 4 snaps a week ago, and this is part of the offense that they missed. They love him on these, whether it's a jet sweep or a reverse, getting him on the edge, a versatile weapon that not only they use down the field in the passing game, but a guy that they can hand the ball off to on first down and gain some positive yardage.
That was an 8-yard pickup. And this is a keeper for Stevens, and he's got yardage. Logan Wilson made the stop Let's check in with Jenny Dell. Jenny?
Yeah, Colorado State star running back Dalyn Dawkins. The trainers on the sideline were wrapping up his right hamstring. He's out there with his team right now, but something to keep an eye on, guys.
Certainly 41 yards on 4 carries in the first series for Colorado State. Colorado State a field goal, 41-yarder. Our only score early here in Laramie. And this is Dawkins again. Bounces off of one tackle, bounces off of another. This is a very good tackling team. And let's take it to New York for a CenturyLink updates.
Guys, number 6 Ohio State and number 7 Penn State have both lost. But number 4 Clemson able to survive. Leading by 7, final play NC State on 4th and 15. Ryan Finley picked off by Kevon Wallace. So Clemson wins.
All right, thank you, Brett. A lot of upsets, a lot of close games here today. That's Dalyn Dawkins again on 2nd down and 4. He's across midfield into Wyoming territory at the 48-yard line.
Rich, one of the things that Mike Bobo and Will Friend, the offensive coordinator, had deep concerns about were the edge players for Wyoming. We talked about Carl Granderson, Kevin Prosser. How would they affect the game? You see they're starting to attack the edges a little bit. You saw the reverse, designed to slow down the edge. You saw the zone read, giving those edge players something else to think about and slow them down.
Stevens fires it out to Dietrich Clark. Got a nice block out there by Warren Jackson. And he's down to the 41-yard line.
Dietrich Clark has had a shoulder injury, and we weren't sure exactly how much we were going to see him in this game. But plays like this, you saw the jet sweep, the bubble screens, giving the defense somebody else to put their attention on.
Movement and whistles, and 2nd down and 3. I think it's about to become 2nd down and 8.
Offense, number 9 was never sent after the snap. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
That's the true freshman, Warren Jackson. And so it is 2nd down and 8. Colorado State at 6-3, 4-1. Their only loss in conference last week to an Air Force team that had a great second half. Uncharacteristically, Nick Stevens threw 3 interceptions last week. This is Dawkins. Stevens had gone 4 games without throwing a pick. His last pick before last week was against the #1 team in the country, Alabama.
Well, you look at their losses, their 3 losses this season, and all 3 of those were multi-interception games. 2 against Colorado, 2 against Alabama, and then 3 last week. So I think ball security here for the Rams is essential for them in playing winning football.
Now 3rd down and 5.
Scotty Hazelton brought pressure in their last drive, and Nick Stevens was able to beat it. Let's see. He has the linebackers playing up right now, but the safety's dropping off in coverage.
Butler in motion. This is Gallup, and Gallup is stopped well short of the 1st down. Rico Gafford with the tackle.
This is one heck of a play, especially when you consider who they're throwing the ball to. Michael Gallup in the screen game has been absolutely deadly this season. But outside on the corner, Rico Gafford, 5'11", 182-pound senior, gets off of the block and makes a great one-on-one tackle.
Austin Conway is deep. Ryan Stonehouse has a big leg. He's just trying to drop it inside the 10 here. And an end-over-end kick. Fair catch called for and made at the 5-yard line. So Wyoming is backed up. Colorado State is on top. It's 3-0. (3-0) Colorado State on top of Wyoming. 5:55 left, first quarter. Josh Allen. All right, 8 games, Adam. You go back to last year and this year.
That's pretty amazing.
What's the difference?
Here's the difference. The big-time throws. Josh Allen made a name for himself last season with all the big-time throws in the big moments, the huge 3rd downs, the great scrambles, the throws in the back of the end zone to Tanner Gentry, the game-winning throws. He just hasn't had enough of those this season. That's the difference the major difference between Josh Allen of last year compared to where he was this year. Now we're in November, and they're trying to make another championship run. This is where Allen has to elevate, and the people around him have to do the same thing.
1st and 10, their own 5. He can run it, can Josh Allen, and he scampers for a 12-yard pickup. Now, you mentioned Tanner Gentry, who was his main target last year. Look at the guys that he lost. Now, Brian Hill's in the NFL, great running back. Tanner Gentry's in the league. Jacob Hollister's in the league. Chase Roulier, the center, is in the NFL. And Mulhart was a great possession receiver himself.
Yeah, you look at the production. Tanner Gentry, 1,326 yards, but 14 touchdowns from a wideout. That is an astronomical number. And it seemed like every time they needed a big play, it was Gentry on the other end.
Play action. Allen has a big arm. And time. Airs it out down the field, and he just overshoots John Akwali, his sophomore wide receiver.
It's a really nice job initially coverage from Colorado State. Look at the protection. Allen is able to pump, go to the other side of the field where he sees that his wide receiver out there, Akwali, has a step on the defensive back, but just overthrows him a little bit. Had a chance to make a big play right there, but he missed it.
What was it? Craig Bohl told us yesterday that it has taken 3 or 4 games before Allen realized that this is a different offense after losing those 5 key players from last year. Scrambling and looking and throwing on the money, but the ball pops out. James Price looked like it hit him between the letters. There's a flag down. And I wonder if Allen may have wandered across the line of scrimmage before the throw.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't know if it's...
Ineligible receiver downfield. Offense, number 78. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. 2nd down.
You see right there, number 78. Blocking downfield, just a few yards downfield. Boy, I mean, the same thing happened last week on that long touchdown at the beginning of the game. 2 weeks in a row, you get an ineligible offensive lineman downfield. It's amazing that those things happen.
R.J. Gina, a speed rusher for Colorado State, is checked in. Trey Thomas, part of that linebacking quartet. 3rd and 10. Allen again. In the pocket, in trouble, and down he goes. Ellison Hubbard finished him off, but the pressure came sooner.
Now, Nico Evans, the 3rd down running back here in the offense, number 22, has to do a better job in pass protection. They're keeping him in, expecting the Rams to have pressure. You see the outside pressure there coming in, and Josh Allen has nowhere to go, and he has to eat the ball. Nice job by Evan Colorado, who's been one of the better pressure defenders for Marty English and his defense this season.
Tim Zaleski, a couple yards deep in his end zone. Live drive kick, trying to kick it away from Brendan Fulton. And Fulton escapes. Great bounce, great kick. And that's going to end up all the way back at Colorado State's 32-yard line. It's a 58-yard punt. 3-0 Colorado State. Colorado State, a 3-0 start in Laramie. Phillips 66, athlete of the week. If you're around him, he'll tackle you. He is Andrew Wingard, and he's really good. 2 picks last week. Look at the tackles. He's an Adam Archuleta type safety. Arch, you've got your keys to the game. What you got?
With better hair. But anyways, Colorado State, it's about ball security. That has been the key to their season so far this year. And for the Wyoming Cowboys, they need relentless pressure, Rich. Not your grandma's pressure, but relentless pressure. And try and get Nick Stevens into forcing a ball downfield and giving Josh Allen more opportunities to run his offense.
Well, Stevens and the Rams in that scoring drive did most of their damage on the ground. And a flag.
Ball start. Offense, number 72. 5-yard penalty.
first down.
Colorado State, one of the more heavily penalized football teams in the Mountain West. 11th in the Mountain West as far as penalty yardage against them this season.
Neither team looked sharp early on in this rivalry game. Stevens rolling, under pressure, caught there. Dalton Fackrell, the tight end, is smacked out of bounds by Evan Ortiz, the nickelback. And he didn't hold it. He's out of bounds. It's an incompletion.
Well, Carl Granderson is a terrific athlete playing defensive end. Number 91 coming off the edge, trying to move the pocket. Again, not allow these defensive ends to just take off and target the quarterback inside the pocket. But Granderson, too much of an athlete, chases down Nick Stevens and forces the bad pass.
Granderson has put on 75 pounds. 75 pounds since he stepped on campus.
He was 180 pounds when he got here, 6'5".
Oh, man! Johanna Gaffon, the sophomore, all over Nick Stevens. Loss of 5.
Well, this is his 5th sack of the season, and that's just a free hitter coming up inside between the left guard and the center. A complete bust in communication, and Nick Stevens gets sacked for only the 5th time this season.
Yeah, just 4 coming in. They have protected him, and he's pretty good about not taking sacks.
When a defensive lineman is in your lap that fast, not much you can do.
3rd down 20, rolling is Stevens, now tucking, and he runs into his own blocker and falls over at the 25-yard line. In pursuit, Carl Granderson. And the defensive line of Wyoming shining on this last series.
You see a little bit shift in philosophy. The first 2 drives of the game, Will Friend opts to run the ball most of the time, giving his running back Dalyn Dawkins 7 carries. In this drive, they try and pass the ball in a pass-first mentality, and you see how the Wyoming defense has responded. So I think that you have to be able to keep Wyoming off balance by using the running game and not allowing them to tee off on Stevens.
Stonehouse, a wobbler off the foot, and a right turn out of bounds right around the 30-yard line. So pretty good field position now for Wyoming and Josh Allen. And the Cowboys last week used the turnovers. In fact, their offense fueled by turnovers. 7 of them, 35 points. Those 7 turnovers against New Mexico.
Yeah, a lot of those giving Josh Allen the ball in enemy territory, and they took great advantage of that. Now, look, Wyoming has to find a way to be able to put drives together. The running game has to be a factor. Colorado State, I know it's been the triple option, but they have not shown a great ability to stop the run this season. This has to be the game that Wyoming gets on track.
Conway in motion. Allen will throw it to him, and he overthrows him. Neither quarterback is sharp right now.
Well, these are some of the throws we're talking about. This is an easy flare pass, faking the jet sweep and trying to get the ball to Austin Conway. That ball has to be on target. That has to be in a place where Conway can catch it, not break stride and use his speed after the catch.
Allen has not completed a pass, as you see. 2nd down and 10. Pulls it, fires it, and it's incomplete. And with C.J. Johnson, I think the biggest miss for Wyoming is Brian Hill, that rugged running back who got them 130, 140 yards a game.
Brian Hill was a back that, it forced defensive coordinators to decide, how do we want to play the Wyoming Cowboys? We can't not allow this running back to run down our throats, but he was the type of back that he'd line up in 8, 9-man fronts, and he'd make the most of it and still get positive yardage. So, not having a guy like that, a banger that can thump it in there, has really made this offense one-dimensional, and it shows.
Conway on the move again. Pump there. Allen screens the other direction. And it's Nico Evans. And Evans fights his way across the 40, out across the 41, and that's just enough for the first down.
A really nice job here of Allen selling this play, going to the right. It gets all the linebackers for Colorado State flowing that direction, and then there's nobody in secondary support. He gets a really nice block outside by his pulling left guard, Gavin Rush, and finally, the Wyoming Cowboys are able to run more than 3 plays in a drive.
Out to the 42. Blitz comes, Allen pulls it, and then escapes to the right side and has the edge out across midfield. He's big, 6'5", 240, yeah. But he has great feet.
Yeah, just ask Emmanuel Jones, number 33, the outside linebacker right there, has a chance, another free hitter. Takes a bad angle. Josh Allen is not a guy that you're going to be able to arm tackle. He's a powerful runner. Sometimes maybe doesn't protect himself as much as you would like him to, but you give him a chance to take over a game on the ground, he can do that as well.
It's a gain of 8, 2nd and 2. Trey Woods gets the carry. Now Woods, when fall camp opens, was a linebacker. That's how thin they were at running back in the absence of Brian Hill. And now Woods, the freshman, he's been the starting running back for most of the season.
Yeah, he sure has. And when they recruited him, it was more of a whatever player. We just know that this guy can play. He can play offense. He can play defense. But because they had a need, he goes over, and he's still learning how to play the position. Even though he played running back in high school, it's a much different style of feeling the blockers and playing those run concepts at the college level.
1st and 10, Allen. Back shoulder caught. It's Conway at the 25. A big play for Wyoming.
Austin Conway is really the guy, number 25 in the slot, one-on-one coverage, who has started to make some plays and has been pretty consistent. You know, last year he was a gadget guy, the guy that was in the slot, ran the jet sweeps, did all the trick stuff. Now he's developed as more of a down-the-field receiver this season. And a great pickup right there from Allen to Conway.
Ball marked to the 24. Wyoming on the move. Their best drive so far. 45 yards on it already. And Woods straight ahead. Not much room there. He runs into Darnell Thompson in the middle, the senior out of Raleigh, North Carolina. 12 total yards, first 2 drives, 46 yards on this one.
Now you can see right now wind isn't really a factor. You know, normally if there is a strong wind in either direction, Craig Bohl would either let this run out to play the next quarter or call a timeout, run another play.
First quarter done. Rivalry game. And a 3-0 starts. Colorado State on top of Wyoming. Firebaugh, California is just north of Fresno, and that was a great timeline from Pop Warner to high school, junior college at Reedley Community College before arriving here. Nobody recruited Josh Allen out of high school, and only two schools, one of them Wyoming, offered him a scholarship after his first year of junior college, and he had a whale of a year last year. Took him to the championship game of the conference, and he throws down the field. Caught there, it's Woods. And he's down to the 1. Jordan Fogle on the hit. Trey Woods out of the backfield.
A really nice job out of the backfield for Trey Woods. The Colorado State defense failed to account for Woods out of the backfield, and for a guy that's not really used a lot, these running backs not really used a lot in the passing game, comes down with a big catch.
And Wyoming on the doorstep now as we start this second quarter. Defense has dominated the first quarter. Woods, look at this. Stacked eye. Woods spins, fights maybe for a yard. As Wyoming is into the red zone. Brought to you tonight by Verizon. One thing that jumps out, as you pointed out, only 20 trips into the red zone.
Yeah, they're number 1 in the Mountain West this season, and they've scored in 19 of 20 of their red zone trips. 13 of those touchdowns, but they've only been down there 20 times, which is not good enough. They have to get that number up, and more importantly, try and get 6 rather than 3.
Kellen Overstreet is behind a Convoy. Play action, Allen. Back of the end zone and through the hands of a wide-open Tyree Mayfield, and that's been an issue for Wyoming. There are times where Allen is on the money and his receivers are not.
Yeah, number 85 coming in there, right there. Allen led him. Maybe you could say a touch too much, but that certainly is a play that the tight end, Tyree Mayfield, has to be able to make in the back of the end zone.
3rd and goal from the 2. Ground or through the air?
You would love their balance. 7 touchdowns on the ground, 6 through the air this season. This is one of those plays where you would have loved to have Brian Hill back there carrying the rock.
Woods is back in. Allen doesn't like what he sees. And with the play clock about to expire, he burns the timeout.
Charge timeout. Wyoming. Timeout on the field.
Wyoming on the doorstep in the rain in Laramie. You can see just a little bit of daylight left here in Laramie. It's cold. It's been raining. It's 3-0 Colorado State. Wyoming is on the move. 3rd down 2 from the, but they're down in goal from the 2. You see right now, Marty English is his defense around him. Adam Archuleta, what's going on both sidelines?
Well, I think this is a tough position for Craig Bohl and Brent Vigen, the offensive coordinator, because you really don't have a run game that's reliable, that you know that you can punch it in. You've already tried to punch it in on the run. That was stuffed. And you don't necessarily have the reliability in the passing game as well. So really tough situation. Now, I would put Allen in some sort of a run-pass option. Move the pocket, get him running, possibly even running it on his own.
Craig Bohl's personality is he likes a big physical offensive line. He likes that physical running back. Doesn't have it this year. Colorado State is changing defenses now out of the timeout. 3rd and goal from the 2.
Everybody stacked inside to stop the run for Colorado State.
Allen pitches, and Woods is caught and dropped back at the 9. Evan Colorado, the senior out of Beaverton, Oregon.
Wow. What a play by the senior, number 43, Evan Colorado. They tried to get everybody to jump up inside for the dive. You get the quick pitch outside, but Colorado was right there, was not fooled one bit. Great play by Marty English's defense.
Cooper Roth, the sophomore kicker, trying to tie it, and he got it. So, big plays have been by the defense in this one. A field goal for Wyoming and a tie game in this border war. College football into November, and that means bowl season right around the corner. And on Friday, December 29th, 5:30 Eastern, the Arizona Bowl on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Year 3 of the Arizona Bowl and a Mountain West flavor. Nevada in 2015, Air Force a winner last year. Here tonight, bowl implications for sure. You've got Wyoming at 5-3. Getting back to a bowl for the 2nd straight year would be an enormous hurdle for Craig Bohl. Wyoming has not been or not had back-to-back winning seasons in 14 years. On that one all the way into the end zone. Clark will scoop it out of the end zone. And so the defenses have been the stars in this one so far, and Nick Stevens will try to solve a very good Wyoming defense.
We already talked about they need to be able to run the football. But the other thing, you go back to last week against Air Force, they were very aggressive in throwing the ball downfield, taking shots, throwing it to Michael Gallup. So far in this game, Nick Stevens has thrown the ball 6 times. The 3 catches have all been short plays, short screen plays or hitch plays to either Dietrich Clark
Stevens on 1st and 10. Dawkins. This is how Colorado State moved the football. for their only points of the game. All right, Arch, how do you get the ball to Michael Gallup, and where do you get the ball to Michael Gallup?
Well, he's one of those guys that he really has everything. The down the field, the vertical threat. But it's really the yards after the catch where he's been deadly. 525 yards after the catch so far this season. That's number 2 in all of college football. So find some ways to let him do what he does best.
Dawkins cuts back, first down carry there. Down to the 40, and it's a gain of about 7. Logan Wilson made the stop for Scotty Hazelton's defense. Hazelton, the first-year defensive coordinator for Wyoming after spending 3 years in the NFL with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
And Hazelton knows that he's got to find some different ways to use his front to stop the run, because he has to commit one of his defensive backs to provide some help with Gallup on the outside. So the front 6 and the front 7 for the Cowboys have to be able to carry the load.
Dawkins, the feature back here, and Dawkins another 9 yards on that carry. He's at 80 yards on the night already. Ortiz made the stop.
In this drive, they're starting to attack inside, right behind the center, right behind the right guard. You saw them attack the edges earlier in the game on their first drive, but right now going right inside the middle of that Wyoming defense. Now, second one, alert shot, alert trying to go downfield on a single high look with one safety in the middle of the field.
Dawkins slices through to the 44-yard line. A couple things here. The front 4 was dominant in the first quarter for Wyoming. We did not call Andrew Wingard's name much at all.
And one of the things in talking to the offensive staff here for Colorado State is they know that number 28 is going to be an impact in the run game. And a lot of times offenses want to run away from the safety because he's the extra player. In this game, they want to always make sure they have a blocker, a tight end or a fullback to get a body on 28.
Well, they got 3 bodies on Dawkins there, maybe a yard. Carl Granderson from his in spot was the first to get there.
Yeah, you know, you see who else is right there. Number 28 coming off the edge. This is a strong safety blitz. Wingard is unaccounted for. I just said that they want to put a body on him. This time they did run away from him. They let him go as the extra player, but he had speed to catch it from the backside.
Andrew Wingard, 8 yards in. One of the best, if not the best, run stoppers from the safety spot in college football. Second down. Blitz comes. Stevens with time. Fires it. This one's caught, and it's Gallup. And they get him the ball in traffic, and he holds it at the 29.
And strong hands, strong physically. Not the biggest of players, but he plays a lot bigger than he is. He knows that he's going to get contact coming in from the inside linebacker. But he secures the catch, comes down with it, makes a big play for Nick Stevens.
Colorado State on the move. Stevens, the senior. And on the carry, Izzy Matthews. Gaffon made the stop for Wyoming. If you're just happening by, we are in Laramie. It's chilly, it's windy, rain is coming down. But these two teams love this stuff. They practice in it, they play in it. Colorado State is just 65 miles away from this Wyoming campus. Fort Collins to Laramie. Play action, Stevens. Scrambling, throwing, a dart, flags down, and that one through the hands of Marcus Wilson. And we'll wait for the 2 flags. Wingard got his first big hit of the night.
You see early pressure.
Offense, number 61. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. It's second down.
It's going to be Zach Golditch, number 61, the tackle. You can see the early penetration on this down. They're trying to hit a play-action pass inside. Stevens feels the pressure, cannot get it to his first receiver, tries to go all the way to the backside, but his receiver runs out of room.
Rain's starting to come down a lot harder now. Second down and a bunch. Stevens throw over the middle. It's caught. It's Fackrell, his big tight end, the senior. And Fackrell has the first down and more. They mark it at the 12. That's 28 yards from Stevens to Dalton Fackrell.
Yeah, perfect zip, perfect dime right here from Nick Stevens. He reads the two safeties deep, and he knows the soft spot is going to be right inside one of the safeties, right on that hash mark and over the top of the linebacker. Perfect timing to his most reliable tight end. First down.
5 of 8 on the drive. Dawkins escapes, and Dawkins is down to the 7. And right now, Colorado State's offense has some rhythm, has some fluidity, and is moving.
That started because they went to a commitment to the run game. Now, last week, they ran the ball pretty well. Dalyn Dawkins had 13 carries for 141 yards. That's 10.8 yards per carry. Now, they only had 23 rushing attempts in that game. A lot of that was because Air Force was able to control the clock. But they let Dawkins, they get him loose. You see what it's been able to do for their offense and the play-action pass.
Second down, Stevens keeps. Stevens to the 5. Look out. He's hit and hit again. Marcus Epps, the first to get there. And now you're looking at third down and 3.
That was a pretty interesting play call. That was a quarterback draw from the start. Dawkins was used as the lead blocker on that play. I'm not really sure that's exactly who you want carrying the football inside the 10-yard line, and Nick Stevens. This is a 3rd and short. They still have an opportunity here. I don't see this as a 4-down territory. This is a tight ball game. Points being at a premium. Got to try and pick it up right here.
Fackrell joins Matthews in the backfields. And it's Stevens again, and he dives. Did he get in? No.
Stevens carries to the 1-yard line.
Logan Wilson met him. Stevens got to the 1.
A little zone read. They went quarterback draw to the left on the previous play. This time they go zone read. Stevens takes the ball, goes off to his right. Wyoming collapses down inside to try and tackle the dive player, and they get a first down.
Scotty Hazelton, defensive coordinator, watching. So a first down. Ball right at the 1. Matthews is the short yardage back, and he's in. Matthews, he's in. Touchdown. Colorado State, an impressive drive, and they reclaim the lead.
Well, you pretty much knew it was going to go to number 24, who has scored a touchdown in every single one of his Mountain West games this season. He only goes about 6 foot, 220 pounds, but that is the grinder up inside that gives Colorado State the touchdown.
Impressive drive through the air and especially on the ground.
Hey, Colorado State with a beautiful drive down the field, pounding it in the end zone behind Izzy Matthews.
Even on a chilly night, we got our Chick-fil-A fan cam. This was before kickoff, obviously. Art, you got to get yourself one of those.
How do you know I don't have one?
Yeah, I guess I shouldn't assume. And right now, look, these are hardy folk up here.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
Arch is a native of this state.
There's a part of me that wish I can go on the field sideline right now and call the game in these elements. This is my kind of football game, Rich.
Well, right now, Jenny Dell is the one that's absorbing most of the punishment weather-wise down on the field.
Well, better her than me, I guess.
Cold heart. Cold heart. Tyler Hall for Wyoming has taken a couple back for scores this year. Ball control. Colorado State up 10-3. Colorado State 27 plays. Wyoming 18. And for Colorado State, and you've mentioned it twice, this is a good feeling because they're not playing a triple option team. They've had 2 straight weeks, New Mexico and Air Force, where the other team controlled the clock and controlled the snaps.
and they just could not get off the field on defense, where Air Force just methodically wore them down for 4 quarters.
Well, Marty English's defense is playing quite well here. Josh Allen flips one to the sideline. It's caught. Austin Conway got his feet down, 37-yard line. That's a 14-yard hookup.
Oh, there we go. What a play. What a grab. Does he get the foot down? Yes. It looks like he looks like he may have got them both. But really a nice play. And we've talked about Conway a little bit. They said that, you know, he gets the ball about 6 or 7 times per game. Brett Vigen, the offensive coordinator, wants to give him the ball 10 or 12 times per game. He's that kind of a playmaker.
Now Allen gives to Trey Woods. Darnell Thompson made the stop. I would think that the week of practice for Colorado State must have been fun defensively, because no more option. All of a sudden, it's a conventional offense.
And, you know, they've had to play passively. Sometimes, as Marty English right there, the defensive coordinator, when you play those option football teams, you kind of get paralyzed a little bit. You start playing passively. I think he's dialed up some pressures early in this game to kind of change the mentality of his defense.
Here comes some pressure here. Allen pulls it, and he's enveloped by Rams. Richard King, Darnell Thompson, the first 2 to get him. And it's a long 3rd down now.
Yeah, another free hitter you see right off the slot coming off of Allen's left side. It's picked up, but then the right side of his offensive line cannot pick up the penetrating defensive lineman for the Colorado State Rams. Now they have to do a better job on that side. 2 players, Richard King and Darnell Thompson, blew up that play in the backfield. You got to give your quarterback more time than that.
3rd down and 14. Allen steps into it, sideline, and that one through the arms of Price. May have been deflected, but another ball that Allen delivered that was somewhat on the mark.
Yeah, and I think Sean Johnson may have gotten a hand on it. He had another play earlier in the game where he broke it up. You see number 17 just at that last second. Watch his right hand pull down the left hand of James Price, and that was a great play by Sean Johnson. Started the last 2 games for the Colorado State Rams and has been absolutely solid in his downfield coverage.
Brendan Fulton watches it bounce. Better get away. Boy, that's right at the foot of a Colorado State player. It was not touched. And Colorado State with the lead gets it at the 25. Coming up, take a closer look at Michael Gallup. 10-3 Colorado State. Rich Waltz, Adam Archuleta, Jenny Dell, and every week we ring the Dell. Let's go down to the sidelines. Jenny?
Well, I was lucky enough to give a ring to current Cleveland Brown and former Ram Rashard Higgins. And Higgins has high hopes for Michael Gallup. He said that he believes Gallup will be selected in the 1st round of the NFL draft. He called Gallup big, fast, physical, and said his playmaking ability is what separates him. He told me there are times Gallup gets the ball. Some people would be okay with getting a 1st down, but Michael is looking to score a touchdown, guys. He really respects that. He's always willing to go the extra mile.
Yeah, Rashard Higgins, Jenny, was a terrific receiver for Colorado State. He has the football at the 25. It is really starting to rain. The wind is picking up. On the ground, and a gain of 2. Jenny, what's the sideline like? I know the rain has started to pick up. Wind, cold, what you got?
Yeah, the rain has started picking up down here, and the wind. It was definitely calm for the first quarter of the game, but the guys seem to be okay down here. They have heated seats, and they're all bundled up, so I'll keep you posted if the weather becomes an issue.
Tough to ring the Dell in the rain?
I can absolutely ring the Dell anytime, anywhere.
But did any of them offer you a seat on the heated benches? Are they gentlemen down there?
Absolutely not. Okay. I am on my own.
2nd down and 7. Dietrich Clark, little jet sweep, and Clark is caught at the 34-yard line, but that's a sizable gain. And I can't emphasize enough how Colorado State is moving the football on the ground. Remember Mike Bobo told us in our talk this week, we will run the ball, we must run the ball.
Well, he knows exactly what they're up against. So far, his receivers have not really had a chance to get a lot of separation against this Cowboys secondary. I think you also have to play the conditions as being a factor in this game, but you're running the ball 6-7 yards a clip. I don't see why you would get off of that course. Do you, Rich?
Not in this weather, and not as long as you're moving the sticks. And Colorado State's going to call a timeout. 3:12 left, first half. Nick Stevens and Michael Gallup have had a really nice season and certainly nice careers at Colorado State. You see Stevens is at 63 career touchdown throws. He's one shy of the school record. And Gallup is opening eyes not just in the West, Arch, but all across the country.
Well, absolutely. When you have that kind of production, he's 6'1", 200 pounds. You see how strong he is. You see what kind of hands that he has. You see that run after the catch ability, and there's really not a part of his game that he can't do. When you have that kind of sustained production and you have that kind of dominance against the other players in your conference, you're going to open up some eyes.
Rivalry game is always well attended. Colorado State and Wyoming here. Third down and a yard. Izzy Matthews is in.
And you got number 46, Adam Prentice, the fullback, who has been an exceptional lead blocker for the Rams.
Matthews busts through. Izzy Matthews, 6 feet tall, 220, out of Redding, California.
This is just a straight isolation play, leading up Prentice on the inside linebacker. Got a nice block by his left guard, Trey Moxley. And the Rams pick up the first down. Look at that block by number 46, just giving the Cowboys the business.
Rashad Body with the carry, and the freshman is stopped by Logan Wilson, but a nice pickup on first down. It's a gain of 6.
Right now,
the number 3 tailback.
Right now, Rich, the Cowboys, the linebackers are playing on their heels. You see a little bit of line movement up front, but the linebackers, their feet are stuck, and they're not making contact until 5 yards down the field. They have to be more aggressive and play more downhill if they want to stop the run game.
Body on a pitch. Hit at the 45. Still on his feet. Fights his way to midfield. He broke a tackle from Logan Wilson. And those are tough yards against Wyoming. As good a tackling team as this league has.
Watch the sustained block by the fullback, number 46, on the inside linebacker. How long he stays with it, keeps his body on him, and that allows the running back right there to just power through the arm tackle and pick up more yards.
Right now it's Body again. 2 flags are down. Body's got a 9-yard carry, but it may be coming back.
Offense, number 51, 10-yard penalty. It's first down.
Stevens shaking his head. That's going to march them back into their own territory.
So number 51, he's going to be the right guard, and he just takes, I can't quite get a number on that. Is that number 93, Johanna Gaffon, just takes him right there to the ground.
Colby Meeks, the junior guard. All in all, though, it's been a good night for the offensive line, especially in the run game for Colorado State.
With under 2 minutes to go, Wyoming has elected to restart the clock on the snap.
And this turns into first down and 20 instead of 2nd and 1. Dawkins is back in, and Wyoming was all over that. Garrett Krall
Jackson, the tackle for the Cowboys.
And Javari Jackson on the stop, pair of freshmen.
So I'm a little surprised that Craig Bull, on that last play, he opted to restart the clock after that penalty. You know, we're inside of 2 minutes right now. You're looking at first, second long. He has a couple timeouts. You'd like to think he'd want to conserve a little bit of time if they're able to get this ball back.
Stevens' throw may have been deflected. He was looking for Dawkins and couldn't find him. That stops the clock, and it's 3rd down and 21.
And so you get an incomplete pass right there. You see the tip ball, but you essentially waste about 35 seconds of clock time. Now, they're probably 3rd and 21 looking at getting this football back. And I'm a little surprised not only he didn't take the timeout after the previous play, but again elected to let the clock run down.
3rd down 21. Gallup in motion in that near slot. Stevens throw caught. It's Gallup, and he's walloped. Tyler Hall made the hit. And I think Wyoming has called a timeout.
Okay. Wyoming, timeout on the field.
They have.
Well, so they called a timeout, but I think that he could have saved his football team about 35 seconds.
30-second timeout.
So 30-second timeout. Of course, that man right there had an incredible run at North Dakota State. 3 national titles. He's rebuilt this program. Verizon halftime report is coming up. Brent Stover, Houston Nutt, Christian Fourier, and ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Aaron Murray to the studio. It's been a fine debut season for the former Georgia Bulldog. Lots of highlights, lots of wild stuff. One major upset. That's all coming up. Verizon halftime reports.
Stonehouse on the kick. Conway deep for Wyoming.
Conway in these conditions has to make sure that he is extremely sure-handed and not put the ball on the ground.
Stonehouse has a big leg. This is a rugby-style line drive. Look at this thing, a missile that goes inside the 5, rolls through the end zone. That's a 56-yard punt on a line. Wyoming gets it. Not much time left. First half. Let's watching Josh Allen. Adam Archuleta, what's your analysis on him?
Here you go. Well, it's obvious. His arm talent separates him from everybody else in the country. His outside the pocket throws is where he makes his huge throws on the move. Now, where he has to improve, we've already seen this a little bit in this game. Too many misses. The short passing game, the intermediate passing game, the routine throws have to be better, and his quick game needs work. Rich, early in your career in the National Football League, you have to have a great foundation of quick game. Get the ball out of your hands. At times, he is too quick to abandon the concept and go back to street football.
Doesn't have a whole lot of time here. A minute left first half. Scramble. Allen with his legs gets a first down. Stops the clock with the first down. Watson hauls him in at the 38. That's an 18-yard pickup. 1 timeout for Wyoming. Evans in the backfield. Allen flushed. Fires in a crowd and incomplete. C.J. Johnson, the receiver, Jake Schlager on the coverage.
Evan Colorado, number 43, so far is having one heck of a game. He easily penetrates, beats the right tackle, Alonzo Velasquez. And Josh Allen has not had a chance to set up in the pocket to deliver his downfield throws here in this game tonight.
2nd down and 10. Continues to rain in Laramie. Allen keeps. And they're going to have to burn a timeout or else this clock is going to evaporate here.
And they've got to do something about number 43 because he is single-handedly destroying this offense and harassing Josh Allen this entire game.
All right, Wyoming is not stopping the clock. And they're not in any sort of hurry here on 3rd down and 8. Under 20 seconds. 3rd down. Allen steps up. Middle throw. Caught there. That's Johnson. And Johnson inside Colorado State territory, 46-yard line. And Craig Bohl, with 8 seconds left, burns his last time out.
So you know he's not going to have really a chance to kick a field goal here.
Third and final charge timeout. Wyoming.
Will step aside. 10-3 Colorado State on top of Wyoming. 8 seconds left. Career long is 49. Now the wind was 25-30 at kickoff. There's no wind in the stadium right now, just rain. But Adam Archuleta, you brought up a good point. Probably not enough time to get him in position.
No, I don't think you don't really have a time right here to. If you pick up a first down, it's going to be awfully close to be able to get your field goal unit on the field. This has to be a Hail Mary situation. Now, I'm sure Craig Bohl would have loved to have the extra 30 seconds right now as he gets his team in scoring position.
Mike Bobo's going to call a timeout here.
Before the snap, second charge timeout. Colorado State, 30-second timeout.
Now, I think if they were ready, Rich, 8 seconds, the average play in football is about 8 seconds. Sometimes if it's a quick pass, you can get down in 6 seconds. But if they would have snapped the football and able to pick up a first down, not call the timeout, then be able to call a timeout, they would have had a chance to get in a field goal situation.
Well, they had a 3-receiver set, which has all the earmarks of a Hail Mary.
I just don't see it happening. If you get a first down here, it's going to burn about 5 seconds off the clock. Then, don't really know if you can exit. You're playing with it. If it's under 3 seconds, you're not going to be able to get the spike off. So this has to be a shot at the end zone for Josh Allen.
And remember, last year, this was a Tanner Gentry, Jake Mulhart target.
Oh, yeah.
Mulhart was the big receiver. Gentry was the guy that would go up and get it.
Gentry, Mulhart special. You had that Jacob Hollister, that big target, too.
Let's see how far he can fling it. He's going to the sideline. It's caught there. Was he out? 3 seconds. Yes, it's a catch. And there's 3 seconds left. C.J. Johnson hauls it in. They're going to spot the football and bring in the field goal unit. Cooper Roth. It's a 43-yard attempt. Plenty of leg, and he hits it. How about this? Wyoming cashes in for 3 points on a bullet throw by Allen. A great catch by C.J. Johnson.
This is great execution right there on the sideline. I'm shocked that they had enough time to be able to execute both of those plays. The fact that only 5 seconds came off of the clock and they were able to get in field goal position is pretty incredible.
Well, a nice way to end it for Wyoming. In this rivalry game, Colorado State up 10-6. You're watching college football on CBS Sports Network, presented by Geico. Yes, that is snow in Laramie, and that's what awaits here in the second half. Colorado State up 10-6. It's a rivalry game. Rich Waltz along with Adam Archuleta. Arch, you're a defensive guy. You had to enjoy the first half.
It was an interesting first half. Here's what I liked about Colorado State and their plan. Now, they are a pass-first offense with Nick Stevens and Michael Gallup, but they transitioned and saw that there was a weakness, and they relied on that running game. Dalyn Dawkins has had himself one heck of a first half so far in this game. They have run the ball, Rich, 28 times in this game. This time the quarterback, Nick Stevens, on his own read, and then they want to punch it in. They're going to give it to their power back, Izzy Matthews, for their first touchdown of the game. But the ground game here for Colorado State really working.
Our ally first half stats reflected on the ground. What's not reflected there, weather. It started at 30-mile-an-hour winds. You saw the video, which was clear. Then we had a huge downpour of rain that lasted the second quarter. That has stopped, and now it's snowing. So there is that. But hey, it's November in Laramie. What else do you expect? Wyoming gets the football. Tyler Hall, who has taken 2 back for touchdowns, is deep. The field turf surface here, almost covered by the snow. And Hall starts out to the 20. Hall across the 25, down to the 27. Taking the brunt of the weather tonight, our Jenny Dell. Jenny, how are you?
I'm doing well. As you can see, we went from pouring rain and wind to some nice snow. Head coach Mike Bobo came out and he said this is the first time he's been to Wyoming and seen the snow, so he's actually very excited about it. But he said for his team, they need to run the ball now due to the weather. He also said they need to limit penalties and really focus on taking care of the football. Now, as far as Wyoming goes, Coach Bowles said the D-line has been getting pushed around too much. Really try to hold up front in the second half, guys.
All right, thank you, Jenny. You hold up, too, here in the second half. 1st and 10, Wyoming football. Josh Allen at the controls, and he'll hand it off. Straight ahead is Trey Woods. Max McDonald, good to see him back and playing. Made the stop. There's McDonald, 31. He's been out with the concussion symptoms the last couple of weeks.
Well, if you're Craig Bowl right now, you would really love a running game that has been lethargic, to say the least, this entire season. This is the type of game that Trey Woods, who has been feeling more comfortable in his role as the running back, really has an opportunity to really pound it at that Colorado State defensive front seven.
2nd down, 5. Allen's throw to the sideline, and it's Price who makes the catch and is out of bounds with the 1st down. Remember the throw at the end of the first half, similar to this one, that set up that field goal.
It's really what Josh Allen does well. We've talked about the out-of-pocket throws. Well, his throws out
in the neutral zone. The penalty is declined. Result of the play is a 1st down.
Rich, Allen's throws outside the numbers, the quick outs, the deep outs, the speed outs. That's probably his most comfortable pass that he throws from behind center.
Neither quarterback was that sharp in the first half. As you can see from the conditions, second half will be a challenge as well. And Woods on the ground. And a little better push from the offensive line. And another 5-yard pickup. Richard King made the stop for Colorado State.
Yeah, it really is. And it doesn't look like much. It's not an explosive run. But the fact that they're able to get that kind of a play on 1st down and put them in a 2nd and 5 situation much better. Look at how Josh Allen started the game 0 for 5, looked very sloppy, but started to really heat up in that second quarter. Austin Conway, James Price having a pretty good quarter for the Cowboys.
Woods following his tight end, Josh Harshman, through the hole. Josh Watson there to stuff it. This is going to be 3rd down and a long 3.
And that's the kind of tackle that Josh Watson liked. He didn't have a lot of those tackles against Air Force. Now, he did have a career-high 17 tackles last week, but Watson scraping in the hole is where he wants to be.
That's a Austin Conway run, and he's got a lot of room. Conway to the 20, Conway to the sideline, and he's knocked out of bounds. Jake Schlager. This is what Conway was featured in last year. A lot of these jet sweep and a little tricky play there.
How about that one? Austin Conway, 5'10". And they line up everybody inside thinking maybe quarterback sneak. Nobody saw number 25. And by the time anybody on the defensive side of the ball recognized what was happening, it was Austin Conway off to the races.
Wyoming on the move. And this time Woods is upended. Good penetration by Jordan Fogle, the safety. I don't know that they could see Conway behind the line there.
No, absolutely not. It was a brilliant design by Brent Vigen, the offensive coordinator, putting Conway in kind of a reduced fullback look. You should have seen how low to the ground he was squatting. It looked like he was only 1.5 feet off the ground.
Verizon red zone tonight. 1 drive in. And a field goal, 2 field goals for Wyoming, a field goal and a touchdown for Colorado State. From the 15, blitz comes. Allen rolls away from it, now steps into it and throws the ball away. Trey Woods was in the neighborhood,
no foul for intentional
so it's not grounding.
Eligible receiver in the area of
Allen right now holding that right arm or that right wrist or hand area.
It's not very often that you see an interior defensive lineman, number 94, Darnell Thompson, who plays defensive tackle, be able to play a quarterback boot to his right side and keep contained. That was an excellent play by Thompson to get pressure, get in Allen's face, and force the incomplete pass.
He was hit on the left side, but was favoring the right side. Evans is the tailback on 3rd down and 10. Conway in motion, and a shot over the middle, broken up. Nicely done there. That was Max McDonald again making a play.
Yeah, here's what I like about the Rams defense. Their back seven, their secondary, the way they played the ball, the way they played the reception point and battled through the catch. They've been in great position for most of that game, and that was a great play right there by McDonald.
Cooper Roth now, look, it's very different now with the snow and that slippery surface. It's a 32-yarder, gets good distance, but he got it. Through the snowflakes, 3 field goals for Wyoming. And in this rivalry game in the snow, it's a 1-point Colorado State lead. They play for the bronze boot. They started this rivalry 1899, and this year it really does mean something as we're into November and both these teams have a great shot at the Mountain West Conference Championship game, but they need to win this football game. Colorado State 4-1, Wyoming 3-1. Boise State plays Colorado State in Fort Collins next week. In the snow, a 1-point game. Dietrich Clark from the 4, and Clark has a seam and he's out across the 30 to the 31. Now I had to wait on this field goal before calling it good. Let's see how close this is.
Wow.
And of course the officials are stationed under each upright and they're looking straight up, and they probably got a face full of snow.
I don't know if you've noticed, Rich, but these are quite beautiful snowflakes. Do you really take a look at it?
First half, they're much more beautiful than Stevens' first half. He was battling wind and then rain and now snow.
Yeah, you see he made some pretty good throws there. The attempts 7 and 8, 14 and 26 yards down the field. Much harder playing Captain Obvious right now to throw the ball down the field, but been able to lean on Dawkins in that run game.
And this is Dawkins. It's a nice combination of quick and strong. Garrett Krall made the stop. It's funny, in our meetings with both coaching staffs, they both talked about weather. But I don't know that they were talking about snow. They were talking about wind and rain.
Yeah, the wind was supposed to be the big one, but that's the way it goes here in Laramie, Wyoming. Now, Colorado State has been able to run the ball extremely well this season. Their 2 worst games of the year were Colorado and Alabama. But this is pretty typical. When they commit to running the football, they've been very effective this season.
Dawkins to the 35. That's only a 1-yard gain. And this Wyoming defense, Gaffon, wingered there as well, and Carl Granderson.
You see the front 7 a little bit more active. You're seeing some more line movement. The defensive linemen that time, both Gaffon and Granderson, playing down the line of scrimmage. The linebackers stepping up into the hole, doing a much better job of stepping up there and not allowing those huge running lanes for Dawkins to get through.
3 of 7 on 3rd down. It's not been a good spot.
Watch screen, quick throw to Gallup. Let him work after the catch.
Dawkins with the cut, stays on his feet. Dawkins to midfield, and he squirts into Wyoming territory inside the 45 and down to the 44-yard line, 19 yards.
Wow, what a call. 3rd and 6, and Will Friend dials up a run to Dawkins. Who does he run through? Right through number 28, the best tackler in the Mountain West, Andrew Wingard. And what a huge run right there for Dawkins to explode and get that first down.
Well, the ball is into Wyoming territory. The grounds crew here sweeping the lines on the other side of the field. Dawkins now 114 yards, 17 carries. Dawkins is hit by Granderson. Now the whistle had blown.
Prior to the snap, there was no play. Delay of game. Offense, 5-yard penalty. It's first down.
Tell Dawkins there was no play.
Wow, Carl Granderson with an inside stunt. The right tackle completely whiffs. Number 91 to the left of your screen.
First and 15.
Granderson had a big interception early in the New Mexico game last week. Colorado State now 1st and 15 right at midfield. 1-point game. Snow falling second half in Laramie. Dawkins. Granderson again, the first to hit him. Wingard there on the stop as well. Will bring up a long second down of about 12 yards.
Boy, he really is. Wingard playing the outside contain. That time Granderson again playing heads up on the tight end. He fights through 2 blocks and again makes a play down the line of scrimmage. That guy is almost unblockable to that side. And, you know, when you watch Colorado State, the drives where they've had trouble has been the drives where they've had some penalties. You know, the negative plays that have put them in 1st, 2nd, 3rd long is where they've had trouble.
2nd and 12 here. Izzy Matthews has got some room, and Matthews rumbles inside the 40 down to the 36. He's short of the first down. 3rd down and short.
Nice play call, taking advantage of a stunt inside from the Washington defense. Easily allows Matthews to get to that outside. Wingard missing another tackle. And now a couple of huge big runs here for Colorado State. Now puts them in a good situation. 3rd and short. They ran the ball on 3rd and 6 with Dawkins. He was able to pick it up. Would not be surprised again if they don't run the football here to try and pick up this 1st down.
3rd down 1. They'll keep it on the ground, and it's Matthews, their short yardage back, who bounces off of Wingard and has the 1st down. Matthews, the junior. Now, look, this is a rivalry, and these two teams have played each other now 108 times. They don't like each other. They're 65 miles away. Add to it, that guy, Andrew Wingard, could be the Defensive Player of the Year in the conference. Was not recruited. He's a Colorado guy. Colorado State did not really recruit him. Wyoming did heavily. And you ask anybody on that Colorado State coaching staff, they'll tell you they whiffed on that one.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable. All-state running back, all-state defensive back. He returned punts, he returned kicks. Really nothing that Andrew Wingard could not do.
Great play here. Gaffon is having quite a night, the sophomore.
Colorado State is having a really hard time with these inside stunts. This time you see number 53. He crosses the face of Trey Moxley and is able to get into the backfield. Now, we've seen Granderson do the same thing on the other side. Colorado State having a really hard time dealing with that. Now, they're stunning inside. Look for Colorado State. Make the adjustment. Start to run to the perimeter and try and get some of these defensive backs and linebackers in space with the defensive line going inside.
The 2nd down, a pitch. Matthews cuts back. And Matthews to the 30. You can tell both the runner and the defenders have to be very careful with their footwork right now.
These guys are sliding all over the place. Now 3rd and 10, this is going to be interesting here. I think you have to do everything you can to try and get a 1st down. You're in field goal range, maybe pick up a few yards.
Tough to get the ball to Gallup in this ball game tonight. He's just got 4 catches for 29 yards. He's at the top of the screen, split out. On 3rd down and 10.
Yeah, they're probably going to run this ball, but I'd be shocked if they don't throw it.
They will run it. And Wyoming with a stop there. Dawkins was back in. Adam Pillapil made the hit and the stop for Wyoming.
You know, I understand the strategy. I understand what's going on. This is a defensive struggle. I don't know if I love the call, especially sitting here at 4th and 8. Running a running play on that down. You know, maybe they were planning on getting 6 or 7 yards, but 4th and 8, awfully tough odds, especially in these kind of conditions, to try and pick up the 1st down.
And a timeout by Wyoming. You saw Scott Hazelton, the defensive coordinator.
First charge timeout. Wyoming, timeout on the field.
Timeout on the field. We'll step aside. Big 4th down when we get back. 1-point game in Laramie. 1-point lead in the Mountain West, Colorado State. CBS Sports Network College Football on Wednesday in the MAC, Western Michigan and Kent State. 7 Eastern, presented by Geico, right here on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Rich Waltz, Adam Archuleta, Jenny Dell, Snow and Laramie. 4th and 8 for Colorado State. On the move with a 1-point lead here in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, this is tough because you're kind of in no man's land. You're looking at about a 46, 47-yard field goal, which is in range, but now you're talking about conditions. You got to deal with the snap. You got to deal with the hold. So they're going to go for this. And it's 4th and 8. Tough odds right here. You've got to try and find a way to get Michael Gallup the ball. Let him do something with the ball in his hands after the catch to try and pick this up.
Stevens will throw, looking for Gallup, who's wide open and makes the catch and has the first down. Excuse me, it's Warren Jackson. Jackson made the catch, and he's got the first down. 13 yards on the hookup.
You cannot play this scared and come this far off in zone coverage. Both the corner and the defensive back right there, Rico Gafford playing way too soft on a 4th and 8. You have to challenge these wide receivers, make the quarterback make a tight throw in really tough conditions, but that's bad defense right there. And you let Colorado State off the hook on a 4th and 8.
I think the defense and the play-by-play announcer were both focused on Michael Gallup. And Jackson was wide open. Now back on the ground. Back with Izzy Matthews, and not much room there, maybe half a yard. Football sits at the 15-yard line. The yard lines are right now getting obliterated by the snow. Matthews going without the sleeves. Both these teams, look, they're both at elevation. They both play in this. They both practice in this, so this is not that unusual for Craig Bohl or for Mike Bobo. Well, Bobo didn't see much of this at Georgia. 2nd down and 9. Matthews a sweep, and he's hit there. Good play by Garrett Krall. Jenny Dell is down below in the snow. Jenny?
So surprisingly, I just spoke to one of the groundskeepers. Apparently, this is the first time that they shoveled the lines in nearly 8 years. The last time was a high school championship game. He said he's been working here for 10 years, and this is the 2nd time they've ever had to shovel the lines here in Wyoming.
Wow, that's surprising.
Absolutely.
It is. 13th play of this drive. Ball is at the 17-yard line of Wyoming. Nick Stevens with Dawkins in the backfield. Stevens scrambling. Stevens towards the sideline, and he tiptoes out of bounds. Not much of a gain. And so now this is a much more makeable spot in the snow for a field goal. Wyatt Bryan is in. I think the biggest concern here is the snap and the hold. You can see everybody's trying to clear a spot.
It's like they're curling in the Olympics right there. "34 yards. Snap is fumbled. And that is why you hesitate to kick a field goal. Chandler Burrell, the holder. Wyoming holds. Still a 1-point game. Sonic quarterback comparison on a night with every element of weather you can imagine. 30-mile-an-hour winds, then heavy rain, and now snow. Let's take a look at Josh Allen's night so far. Didn't start off very well and had a couple missed opportunities. This time a strike downfield, overthrows it, and then he started to kind of feel it a little bit. After starting off 0 for 5, he started to catch fire a little bit, had a nice little zip on the sideline to his wide receiver to set him up for 3 points right before halftime, but after a really shaky first quarter, really started to settle in and make some nice throws downfield.
Allen and Wyoming keep it on the ground. Now the focus here is the snap by Trent Sieg and the hold by Nathan Lucas. And the snap looks not to be too bad, but obviously in the snow, Lucas never got the ball.
Handled it, and that's exactly what we were talking about, why Mike Bobo maybe thought twice about kicking the field goal earlier on 4th and 8. Now, Lucas was very fortunate he was able to get his hands on there and stop it and not let that ball go farther past him and really let Wyoming get a big play.
Wyoming lost a yard on that first down play. 2nd and 11. Allen, good runner. Nice tackle there by Jake Schlager, the senior safety.
Oh, what a fill up inside by Jake Schlager. He's playing about 9 yards deep in the secondary. He reads it, comes up, takes a shot, and just chops Allen below the waist. Now, this is going to be a tough deal because I don't think Craig Bowl and Brent Vegan, they can't really rely on their run game as Colorado State is doing on the other side of the ball. So they're going to have to get a little bit creative. Josh Allen is going to have to make some big throws in tough weather, and they're going to have to get creative with their run game to keep the Rams off balance.
3rd down 7. They move the pocket. Allen rolling, short throw, smelled out, caught by Evans, and he's wearing Josh Watson to the ground. So what you're saying is this snow advantage Colorado State?
Well, 100%. This is, you can see the issues right now with Wyoming being so one-dimensional. This is not a game where you want to drop back and throw it, but you see what happens when you rush for 1 or 2 yards on 1st down. It puts you in an almost impossible situation to be able to pick up 1st downs.
All right, the snap good there, and the kick is away. And it rolls out of bounds. We started with 30-mile-an-hour winds. The wind stopped, then we had torrential rain. And now, what do we have? That's right, let it snow. In Laramie, 36 seconds left in this 3rd quarter. 4 catches, 29 yards. He leads the country 130 yards a game receiving. And now Josh Allen, as Adam pointed out, this is 4 catches, 29 yards. He leads the country 130 yards a game receiving. And now Josh Allen, as Adam pointed out, this is tough here. There's no running game at all for Wyoming, and they are leaning heavily on their junior quarterback.
Yeah, and so this is going to have to be a collective effort. I don't really think that his offensive line has done a great job in this game. He hasn't had a lot of time to set up. The weather right now is a factor for any quarterback, regardless if he has the arm strength or not. Just getting positive yards in the passing game is going to be a major issue, especially if they're not able to get early positive yardage via their running game.
See the temperatures drop to 33. Dietrich Clark is upended.
That's really a nice play by Marcus Epps, the free safety, coming from about 14 yards deep, running the alley and being aggressive. And chopping down the runner right there. Beautiful play by the free safety, who has been a terrific tackler. Andrew Winger gets a lot of love, and for great reason, but Marcus Epps has been a great tackler here as a Wyoming Cowboy.
3 quarters in.
The 3rd quarter.
On a snowy, cold night in Laramie. Snow falling, 1-point game in the Mountain West. Bud Light game summary after 3. Colorado State a 10-9 lead. 172 yards on the ground for Colorado State, and that's the difference on a messy weather night. Heavy wind, then heavy rain, and now snow, and lots of it. How is Pistol Pete holding up? He lives for this stuff.
I could so see you doing that, Rich. I mean, I really could.
I'll tell you what, the women and men that work on our production team tonight have been terrific. They've been out in the elements. The pictures have just been terrific, especially once the snow has been falling. Second down 11. Colorado State, their own territory. Nick Stevens play action, little throw. Fackrell the catch. Fackrell's rambling. Fackrell's caught. Logan Wilson hauls him down. That is right around midfield.
Boy, this is really a nice play. Fackrell's going to come all the way from the right side. They're going to fake the run inside. And this is kind of a really creative play. You don't see that kind of a play very often. Everybody comes up inside, then you take the running back from the other side right up the seam. Brilliant play call by Mike Bobo.
The ball is at the 46-yard line of Wyoming. The yard lines are almost invisible now for everybody. And Dawkins over the left side gets 3 yards. Andrew Wingard comes up and makes the stop. There's Mike Bobo. And snow piling up in the back of his hoodie there. Wingard's limping a bit. You see that what the grounds crew has done. They cleared the yard lines and the hash marks during the break. Plenty of snow shovels in the fine city of Laramie. And a lot of experience as well.
That's silly, man.
And Mike Bobo with the play clock coming down. That was a timeout from the sideline to avoid a 5-yard penalty. Let's see if he got it in time.
First charge timeout, Colorado State. Timeout on the field.
Timeout on the field. Timeout with us as well. 10-9 in the fourth, Colorado State. I love that sequence because it showed you just how the weather was at the start, in the middle, and now with the snow falling in Laramie. There's your ball control numbers. Colorado State chewing up yards and clock.
I thought that was from last year's game. We just kind of took video from. This is really looking good for Colorado State with the ability, with the way they're running their offense right now, to control this clock with just a 1-point lead. Great luxury that I know Craig Bull wish he had on the other side of the ball.
Big back Izzy Matthews is in, and he gets the football, and Matthews has a seam, and Matthews has big yardage inside the 30, down to the 26-yard line.
Boy, Zach Golditch, the left tackle, number 61, just completely mashed the Wyoming Cowboys down, and Andrew Wingard could not close the distance enough. He got a great block on the backside from the fullback.
That's not a good look there. Matthews holding his shoulders, he came off, and now on the bench. He's had a really nice night tonight. Getting the tough yards and occasionally breaking some big runs. 41 yards on 11 carries. At the 26 of Wyoming, Dawkins back in, and Dawkins is through. Into the secondary, inside the 15, and down to the 13.
There's really one more time. This is Golditch again. Take a look at that down block. You got one back, two backs, one tight end in the backfield, and again, boy, Golditch just starting to get a lot of movement on that Wyoming defensive front.
Zach Golditch, left tackle. They say he's got a chance at the next level. The senior out of Aurora, Colorado. First and 10. Just outside the 10. And not much luck there. Gaffon in on the hit.
Gaffon's really made some nice plays in this game, especially in the run game. You saw an early sack that made it his 5th sack of the season. But here a few times now, he got blocked down by Golditch on the play before. But you've seen a few times where he's been able to beat the guard across his face, get in the backfield, and make a big play. Those first down stops for no gain is what Wyoming needs desperately here to try and take the ball back from Colorado State.
Second down 10, ball at the 14. on the pitch, Dawkins. And ladies and gentlemen, that is what Andrew Winger does best. My goodness.
Wow, this is how you run the alley. Andrew Winger going to show up on the right side of your screen. That's what he does best, ladies and gentlemen. Number 28. No hesitation whatsoever. Takes a perfect angle, one-on-one, and that's how it's done, ladies and gentlemen. Number 28 making a beautiful tackle.
Craig Bolt told us he's the best tackler he's ever coached or seen. And remember, Bolt played for Tom Osborne and coached with Osborne at Nebraska before going to North Dakota State. Dawkins now to the 10 on that third down carry. He puts his field goal kicker right between the hash marks in what should be a relatively short field goal. But remember, the last time that Colorado State was in this spot, the snap was fumbled. Nathan Lucas is back in, and he's trying to get some help from his buddies and clear a spot. See all the snow on the ground. Wyatt Bryan is in. This is a 27-yarder straight on. It's not the kick, but the snap and the hold that's in question. Snap good, hold good, line drive right through. Oh, that's good special teams work. Trent Sieg, the snapper. Nathan Lucas, the holder. And Wyatt Bryan is true. And Colorado State's lead increases. Oh, you gotta love the snow, right? It's November, it's college football. You need some snow. 11 Eastern tonight, world's toughest bull riders take on the world's fiercest bucking bulls. 2017 PBR World Finals. Can the 20-year-old phenom Jess Lockwood hold on to the lead? It's right here on CBS Sports Network. World Championship. PBR tonight. All right, on the ground, Colorado State.
They've been able to run the ball for 209 yards this week. Izzy Matthews getting the first touchdown. Dalyn Dawkins ripping off huge runs against the Wyoming defense. Again, Izzy Matthews powering up inside, right down the throat of the Wyoming Cowboys. And it's because of that running game they've been able to grind out the clock, keep the ball away from Josh Allen, and be in control of this football game.
That one skips by Tyler Hall. Let's check in with Jenny Dell. Jenny?
Yeah, Colorado State running back Izzy Matthews came off the field. He pointed right at his left clavicle, his left shoulder, and immediately knew something was wrong, guys. He went into the locker room. I'll keep you posted if I hear anything down here.
All right, Jenny, stay warm.
Staying as warm as possible.
All right. Let's stay dry, although I'll bet the snow is probably better than the torrential rain that we had through most of the second quarter. There's a look at the end of that play, and Matthews immediately going to that left shoulder.
Yeah, he's an important part of this offense. Coming into this game, 542 yards, and provided a really nice combination with Dawkins in that running game.
All right, 1st and 10. Wyoming's had trouble running the football. Allen's going to throw it, and he dumps it out. That's Drew Van Manen. And Van Manen has the first down, and a nice pickup. 12 yards, and Wyoming trying to move the football.
And it's almost, you know that it's going to be a hard time throwing the football, but it's almost as if, and I hate to say it, you have to abandon the run in this situation. Because running the football right now is doing nothing but putting your offense in bad situations. So I think you've got to put it in Josh Allen's hands, let him make some throws, and those wide receivers have got to make some plays for him.
1st and 10. Allen will keep it, and he's got yardage. And he picks up about 10. He's got the first down. Ball's loose. Who's got it? Ball popped loose. Officials huddle. Max McDonald had it. The call on the field.
Ruling on the field is the runner was down prior to losing the ball.
All right, that's significant because with the replay, you're going to need conclusive evidence that the ball came out.
The ruling on the field of the runner being down is under review.
It looks like it was out well before he hit the snow.
And I'm going to have to agree with that assessment, Rich. risky play, running your quarterback on a quarterback lead. Josh Allen trying to use that physicality. That ball clearly out. Sean Johnson, the cornerback, who has had a heck of a game so far in coverage in the early part of the game, right there sticks his helmet right on that football and makes a huge play for the Rams.
There's McDonald with the football. Look, it's tough to see up here. I'm sure it's tough to see for the officials as well.
Hey, you can see the side judge did not have the right angle. The right angle is the angle we're looking at it, but this one's really a no-brainer. Review easily should overturn this call. And again, a huge play. Running the football, and their inability to run the football today has really made it tough for Craig Bohl to get anything going on offense.
This should not take long. There's two parts to it, though. There's number one, confirming that it's a fumble, overturning the call, and number two,
recovery.
Spotting the football where McDonald's recovered it. Ball's out there. And what makes spotting it tough is that the yard lines are pretty much obliterated.
Well, that shouldn't be that hard. I mean, he's right there on the line. I don't know exactly
Which
what
line?
Well, I mean, come on.
I'm with you.
Unless there's something that I'm just not privy to.
And right now, the Colorado State sideline is celebrating. They haven't even announced the decision on this replay review. And there's the turnover belt. Now, when the turnover belt emerges, you know it's official.
I don't know what the problem is. This is clearly a fumble and a clear recovery by a Colorado State player who's down by contact.
I don't think you bust out the belt unless you're really sure, right?
I think that's pretty slow. I don't see anything like that.
They waited.
Not everybody's sure.
And look at, and Craig Bohl is like, he knows, and you see the frustration on his face.
After reviewing the play, the runner fumbled the football. There was an immediate recovery by Colorado State. Ball is placed at the 49-yard line. First down, Colorado State.
So, the recovery by Max McDonald's. Mike Bobo, says, look, the belt was out, the snow's falling, and that's a turnover.
Yeah, well, Craig Bohl, when we talked to him, he said, in this game, we have to be +2 in turnover margin, and they've been exceptional this season when it comes to turnovers. Right now, you see that one right there for Colorado State could not have come at a better time. Now, that's a drive right there where Wyoming and Josh Allen needed to go down the field and respond to Colorado State keeping that ball for all of that time, but Sean Johnson making a great play right there, getting that ball out.
The ball will be placed at the 39-yard line.
That's not right. The ball's at the
49-yard line.
Okay. I'm telling you, Arch, spotting the ball was difficult.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to say, Rich, but I feel like we could have got this thing going about 5 minutes ago.
And Jordan Fogel's got some hardware there. Now, Colorado State has moved the football on the ground. Their running game much better than Wyoming's tonight.
Yeah, it's all ground game right now. Dalyn, Dawkins.
Remember, we saw Izzy Matthews come out of that last drive, the short yardage back with a shoulder injury. Dawkins here, and Dawkins picks up 8. Logan Wilson with the stop. The ability for Dawkins and even Matthews to get to the next level here has been alarming for Wyoming.
Yeah, Gaffon again getting great penetration, but what a move. I mean, that was heavy disruption in the backfield again. The right guard getting beat, but a nice adjustment by Dawkins to avoid the early penetration, get upfield, and then pick up 7 yards on first down when that should have been a negative play.
Second down 3. Dawkins at 145 yards and lowers the shoulder. Kevin Prosser made the hit, but Dawkins pushed him enough to get the first down, a 3-yard gain.
It's just really good execution because they knew that in the passing game, Wyoming had the ability to make life very difficult for Nick Stevens and his wide receivers throwing the football. The pressure that the Cowboys can generate, but the game plan they have come in with has absolutely neutralized anything that these defensive ends and defensive tackles have been able to do to get pressure on that side of the football.
Saw Scotty Hazelton, the defensive coordinator. 1st and 10. Ball at the 39. Stevens rolls, fires. And that's going to be a tough catch for Dietrich Clark or any wide receiver. Evan Ortiz on the coverage.
Yeah, really just a smart play from Stevens. That he knows that Granderson is closing in. This is not the part of the game where you want to throw an errant pass and give up maybe a pick six. Remember, this defense has had 3 defensive touchdowns so far this season. So have a conservative passing game. Throw the ball outside, but don't try and fit this ball into any tight windows and give the Wyoming Cowboys a gift.
Josh Allen wondering and hoping when he's going to get the football back. Maybe wishing this snow would stop. 2nd down, 10. Dawkins. And that's Gaffon, who's had a big night. Sophomore out of Grand Island, Nebraska.
The Gaffon and Granderson combination has been almost too much and been overwhelming for Colorado State. Granderson getting the early penetration, Gaffon coming and wrapping to the outside, but they've been all over the place here so far tonight. Now 3rd and 10.
Rarely do you hear of a defensive lineman that has 8 tackles in the game. He's got 8 right now.
And you got to expect Nick Stevens right here to throw the ball. This is a heavy protection set from Colorado State.
No, they're going to run it. Dawkins breaks 1 tackle and then is finished off by Robert Priester. Short of the 1st down.
Wow, what a shot from Priester. The first tackle is broken from Malawi, and then Priester comes in and just cleans it up.
All right, the offense is still on the field.
I don't think this is a great field goal situation here. They got to try and pick up this 1st down. Again, don't really love that 3rd down call. Puts you in a 4th and 6 situation.
What about punting the football?
So what, you can gain 10 yards?
Well, if you put it down inside the 15.
Okay.
It's at the 35. That's body, and he's hit. And short of the 1st down. And Wyoming holds at the 30-yard line.
You know, I just...
Ruling on the field. The runner was short of the line of gain. 1st down, Wyoming. Timeout on the field.
Colorado State opting, Rich, to run the ball on 4th down, but Wyoming Cowboys turnover on downs.
32 degrees, snowing in Laramie. 7 minutes left, 4th quarter. Big rivalry and a big game in the Mountain West. 13-9, Colorado State, Wyoming's football. The big arm of Josh Allen throws off the back foot and a diving catch at midfield. Drew Van Manen, the senior fullback, makes that catch. There is a flag down.
Offside, defense, number 54 was lined up in the neutral zone. Penalty is declined. Result of the play is a 1st down.
And Van Manen is down as well. He sold out for the catch. Held it right near midfield.
Boy, it was such a crucial catch. The senior captain out of the backfield with a beautiful dive right there. You see he turns, lands on that right shoulder so he can cradle the ball and secure that catch. There's no doubt that that is a hard ground right there, but what a play. That's the kind of play right there from your senior leadership that you need to have to get back in this game.
Van Manen is a great blocking fullback. That's his 6th catch of the season. He also doubles as the long snapper. Craig Bull in Wyoming. Last year they won a lot of close games. Remember that wild finish against San Diego State near the end of the regular season? That was right here on this field.
Ruling on the field of a catch is under review.
I didn't see anything in that sequence that led me to believe you could overturn this. Did you?
Well, we're going to get plenty of time to take a look at this. I thought that he did everything needed to secure that catch.
The overhead look first. We got plenty of good looks at this.
Catch. So the ball is allowed to touch the ground if it's secured, and you're allowed to have a slight bit of movement. The fact is, A, it looked like a catch. In real time, to me, that looks like a catch. B, the fact that they called it a catch on the field, will there be enough evidence to overturn it?
Well, you're obscured on the roll there. I don't see anything from our looks where you could say conclusively you could overturn it. Fans are watching it as well on the scoreboard.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field of a catch stands as called. It's first down.
No evidence to overturn that. It has to be clear and obvious that it was the wrong call.
And that's why it was a stance. Couldn't overturn, couldn't confirm.
Could not. A lot of different words to explain what happened there.
True. I'll tell you what, it's
great effort nonetheless.
Yeah, incredible catch. Let's hope he's all right. 46-yard line of Wyoming. Allen and the Cowboys down 4. This is Overstreet, and Overstreet busts loose. Kellen Overstreet, the sophomore. That's one of the best running plays of the night for Wyoming.
Absolutely. Now, Kellen Overstreet was a talented running back in high school, and he's going to take this ball. He's going to run right behind.
Foul, face mask, defense, number 8, 15-yard penalty is added to the end of the play.
Whoa.
Automatic first down.
Jake Schlager with a face mask, 15 yards on top of the Overstreet run.
And Schlager wasn't even involved initially on the tackle. He comes in over the top as Overstreet is going to the ground, and his right hand touches the helmet of Overstreet.
He had him by the ear hole, it looked like.
Yep, you can see right there that right under the cheek pad, if you call it. But what a huge blow right there. What a huge penalty to give the Cowboys 15 more yards.
Overstreet in the backfield, and he'll get it again off right tackle, and he finds a soft landing at the 16-yard line.
If Overstreet hits this a little bit to his right, this is going to be touchdown. Watch number 29 get this football. He's going to go right off tackle, but watch the lane that opens up right there. If he just bounces it to the right, that's touchdown. But those are the runs that they've been missing since Brian Hill has left this program.
Overstreet again, 3 consecutive carries for 32 yards. This sets up a 3rd down and 3. Got to get the football down to the, looks like the 12-yard line.
I'd run Josh Allen in some way, shape, or form right here. He has been your most consistent option on the ground. Don't really like, you'd love to move the pocket, but Colorado State has done such a good job in this game of containing Allen when he tries to get outside. I don't think that's the right play either.
3rd down 3. Allen keeps it. Allen's got the first down. And he's inside the 10 to the 9. McDonald and Schlager the stop. Allen pops up, fired up. And Wyoming trying to stuff it down the throats of Colorado State.
Yeah, exactly the right play. Quarterback power. He's going to run right behind the lead blocker, the running back, Nico Evans. And because Allen is the extra player, there's not the extra guy on defense to get to him before he picks up that first down.
Schlager's lucky he didn't get another flag there. He put the knee right in the chin of Allen after the play. 1st and goal inside the 10. Wyoming on the move. Under 5 minutes left. Allen picks a hole. Allen breaks a tackle. Allen's inside the 5 and down to the 3. Schlager made the stop. And suddenly, Wyoming has found a ground game.
Well, he's 6'5", 240 pounds. And you normally don't want your quarterback running the ball this much during the game. But when you have to have it, you must put it in your best player's hands. That's what they've done.
Overstreet in, touchdown. What a drive. And what a feeling, 70 yards. The great catch by Van Manen, Overstreet's runs, Allen big yardage. Extra point, an important one to try to stretch the lead to 3. Kick is good.
Van Manen strikes the match. Josh Allen pours on the gas. And Kellen Overstreet gets his 6.
A frozen bronze boots in this rivalry game. Cabela's most valuable performance. It's Josh Allen on this drive.
And it has not always been pretty in this game, but when they needed it, he throws a beautiful pass to his fullback on critical downs. They ride his legs and allow him to pick up that much-needed first down yardage. Keeps the drive going, and then they grind it out. Really nice, high-quality drive right there for the Cowboys, led by their quarterback, Josh Allen.
Wyoming will kick it off. Cooper Ruff with Dietrich Clark deep for Colorado State. Colorado State's offense has been the better offense tonight, though, and they have a little over 4 minutes on the clock. This is Clark from the 7 towards the sideline. That's as far as he gets. All right, shift gears here now to Colorado State and Nick Stevens.
Yep.
They've been running the football, but it feels like they need to do a little more than just that.
Well, now they're not in a position where they can just grind it out and play ball control offense. Going back to that last drive, I just didn't love the 3rd and the 4th down sequence. It was 3rd and 10. They chose to run the ball. Again, 4th and long, they chose to run the ball. You have one of the, if not the most efficient passer in the Mountain West. And I know it's snowy conditions, but you have to give your quarterback a chance to make a play when your football needs it most. This is Nick Stevens' time right here.
8 of 13, 110 yards. Michael Gallup is his biggest weapon. Bottom of your screen. Stevens looks away from Gallup and throws short of Olabisi Johnson. 2nd down and 10. He's throwing against a defense that last week picked off 5 passes, forced 2 fumbles, and leads the nation in turnovers, 24 of them. Although Mike Bobo's team has not coughed it up in this one.
You're still able to run the football. You've got plenty of time. 4 minutes and 11 seconds. Time's not an issue. First downs and keeping this drive alive is the issue. So you have to call your best play to pick this up. Dawkins.
And he stopped Kevin Prosser with the hit. And it's a gain of 2. This is a 3rd down and 8.
A perfect technique outside for Kevin Prosser. A junior defensive end keeping his shoulders square down the line of scrimmage, making this play. 3rd and 6. Nick Stevens has to find.
Flag down movement. Well, this won't end well for Colorado State.
Yeah, 2 players moving at the same time.
And the snow is falling a little heavier than it was about 10 minutes ago. Mike Bobo's offense backed up now at the 19-yard line. 5 of 13 on third down. And a lot of penalty yards for Colorado State.
A great opportunity for Wyoming to get that front four hunting for the quarterback.
Stevens steps into the pocket, scrambles, is hit and drops. 25-yard line. Prosser and Ravante Holt, Carl Granderson there too. And they're going to have to punt.
Yeah, they have no choice but to punt. You're down by 3 points right now. If you go for it, you're going to essentially give Wyoming the ball inside of easy field goal range. You have to punt. You got to go out there and play some defense right now. Your defense has done really well for most of this game. Gave up some plays on that last drive, but right now, defense has to go back and get the ball back for Nick Stevens.
Conway is deep. He needs to be careful with this punt. He's got it at the 21. Conway trying to get outside. Hit there, out of bounds. 2.5 minutes left. Wyoming with the football and a 3-point lead. Colorado State has 2 timeouts. What's at stake here? Boise State has won. They're at 5-0. Wyoming 3-1. Colorado State 4-1. Wyoming lost to Boise State, but Colorado State plays Boise State next week. So if the Cowboys win, they're going to need help. Boise State has not an easy schedule left. They still play Colorado State next week. I believe they have Air Force, and then they finish at Fresno State, who's 4-1 in the Mountain West.
Yeah, this one right now, the game's not over, but it hurts Colorado State. They lose this game because they essentially have an opportunity to control their own destiny. But at 2 minutes and 38 seconds right now, 2 timeouts, got to get off the field and back to the offense.
Overstreet had a nice series last time they had the football. Josh Watson makes the stop, and a timeout, Colorado State.
It's the kind of run you want right there on first down. Kellen Overstreet. The offense has kind of taken a little bit different personality since Overstreet has gotten in the game here in this fourth quarter. I love how he initiates and is aggressive on contact on the linebacker, Josh Watson. You need your football team to grind this out, pick up a first down, and that's the kind of production you need right there on a first down run.
It was a gain of 5. And his second down and 5. Mike Bobo and Colorado State were home last week against Air Force and lost. Air Force dominated the fourth quarter of that ball game. And here in the fourth quarter, Wyoming with a huge drive in the snow on a very slick surface. Josh Allen, Kellen Overstreet, they were both terrific. Nico Evans is checked in. He's in the backfield. Second down and 5.
Yeah, he's really been kind of a lead blocker for Allen in the quarterback run game, number 22.
And this is the quarterback run game. Allen fights forward. Now let's see where they mark it. I think he's short of the first down. He slid well past the marker. But you see the official, the side judge spotting the football a yard short. So, looks like third down and a short yard.
Looks like you're going to, if I were, I thought that initially, it's kind of hard with the snow here. It looked like initially Allen was pretty close to picking up that first down.
Knee down.
Yeah, okay.
There's the slide factor with the snow, I think.
Maybe could have had a better, more efficient slide.
Yeah, he's close there, though.
Yep.
Craig Bull right now. Now, look, Bull had the best view of it. He's right there on that sideline. It's third down and a short yard. Now, Colorado State is out of timeout, so this third down.
This smells like a quarterback power right behind number 22. One more time.
3rd and 1. Allen keeps. Allen shouldered down, got the first down. Watson and Fogel the hit, but a gain of 2, and the big quarterback, who Craig Bull offered a scholarship to, Only one other school offered him.
It's been open the entire game in critical downs. The free safety right there. Jordan Fogle playing it 8 yards deep, cannot get down in time. He's the extra player, but it's simple mathematics. Josh Allen is 5 yards deep behind the center. Fogle is 7 yards deep. Allen's going to pick up that first down every time.
And they're going to review the spot here. What was it Craig Bolt told us when he was recruiting Allen? Remember, Allen didn't have a scholarship offer out of high school. Went to junior college. Had a good year, but there wasn't a lot of interest in him. He said, look, I like the arm, but I love his competitiveness.
Yep, and that's really what kind of shows up in big moments. You saw that time and time again last year. More with his arm. You know, you haven't had many of those opportunities this season for a variety of factors, but you know, you've seen here in this fourth quarter when they've had to make a play. Now, they couldn't have done it without their senior fullback. The great catch from Drew Van Manen. But it's been Josh Allen and his big frame, his big body, picking up those critical first downs.
It is a first down. So the call is confirmed. The spot was true. And Colorado State, 2:20 left, can't stop the clock. They can only hope here that the football gets icy.
Yep. I think you have to look at that last sequence. When Colorado State was in the red zone, you had a golden opportunity right there to do something. But the 3rd and 10 call combined with the 4th and 10 call, you essentially just gave the ball back to the Cowboys and got 0 points out of that drive. And the very next drive, Wyoming goes down and scores a touchdown. I think the fact that they didn't put it in Nick Stevens' hands and let him go out there and make a play was a mistake.
Overstreet, right side, is hauled down. And of course, remember, as a flag is down, with the snow and the ice, the official's microphone has stopped. Remember earlier when the snow had just hit, Colorado State on a field goal attempt never got it off the launch pad.
One of those plays is tough to practice in the offseason for conditions like this, Rich.
All right, with the penalty, the football is back at the 38. The Sticks have second down. We've got first down, though. Did they decline the penalty? Or? Oh, that's why they've declined the penalty. So right now they've got to figure out where the spot of the ball is. Because he had about a 5-yard pickup and they moved the ball back. Now you can go to replay for spot. Mike Bobo talking to the referee. The down is almost more important than yardage.
Absolutely. It's worth 40 seconds. Every extra down you get right now is worth 40 seconds.
They've got to re-spot the ball, and they do at the 45-yard line. So it was a 6-yard, almost a 7-yard carry. Ready for play. Ball at the 45. Clock has not started. And Colorado State needs a stop. Overstreet straight ahead. And he's in a pile, and he keeps going. And he's got the first down. And Wyoming now can run the clock off and take a knee. How about Kellen Overstreet?
Yeah, you said it.
We did not see him until the fourth quarter, and what a big quarter he's had.
He came into this game with 138 yards, an average 3.6 yards per carry. What I've been impressed with is his effort and the way he's attacked it in this fourth quarter. When they needed something out of this run game, Overstreet had come to play here for the Cowboys.
Now Allen can take a knee, and with 1:20 left, if you do the math, Wyoming in the snow with a fourth quarter drive to claim the lead in a defensive stop. Craig Bohl has found himself in close games this especially last year.
This one was tough because, you know, everything it seemed was going in Colorado State's way. They were able to control the football game. They were able to run the football. And Wyoming being one-dimensional for 3/4 of this football game, it seemed almost impossible that they would be able to come back and win this football game. What a performance here in the fourth quarter from the Wyoming Cowboys.
Josh Allen did not have his best game statistically, but in terms of leadership and toughness, this one is right up there. The bronze boots for the 109th time. The border war is fought, and Wyoming has the ball, the win, and the boots. And the Cowboys' hopes of a return trip to the Mountain West Championship game are still very much alive. And bowl eligibility at 6-3 and 4-1. Well, heavy wind, 30 miles an hour, then heavy rain, then heavy snow, and now fireworks. A typical Saturday night.
My kind of party, Rich.
In Laramie, Wyoming.
My kind of party.
Updated standings. Boise State has won. Wyoming goes to 4-1. Colorado State has lost 2 straight, but they get Boise State in Fort Collins here on CBS Sports Network next week. Let's go down and find Jenny Dalyn, the snow and the celebration.
All right, Coach, you had all the elements here tonight. We had rain, wind, snow. Overall, how do you think this team performed?
Well, it was a great win. I also want to salute Colorado State. I mean, it's a great classic rivalry, and you're right, all kinds of elements. That's why we call it Laradice.
We're living in Laradice right now. You said a win tonight would really validate this program. It would take you from a good team to a very good program. Do you feel like you did that tonight?
Well, you know, I'm going to enjoy tonight. This was a huge win for us, and yeah, I think we're moving the right direction.
And now this one also helps you with bowl eligibility. How important is that?
Well, you know what? It's been 30 years since we've gone to back-to-back bowl games. We'll hopefully the committee looks at us favorably.
Go get some hot tea. Thank you so much, Coach.
Well, Wyoming has to go to Air Force, and they've got Fresno State up here remaining on their schedule. But at 6-3 and 4-1 with the boots and a bowl in their back pocket. Josh Allen down below with Jenny. Jenny?
Hey, Josh, how important was it to get that running game going in the fourth in this weather?
It was very important. You know, conditions are a little tough to throw in. And, you know, our guys, they stuck to it. We found our way late, and I couldn't be more proud of these guys.
What does it mean to you to be able to keep that
Josh Allen! You did it, buddy! Yeah, you did it!
I know.
Josh is very excited. So, no, you're fine. Don't worry about it. But to have the bronze boots stay with Wyoming, what does that mean to this program after beating Colorado State?
I mean, it's huge. You know, we're 3-3 in trophy games this year. Obviously, it's a rivalry game for us. And, you know, they've been giving it to us the last few years, but the last couple are ours, and the boots where it belongs.
Where do you see this program growing to?
You know, we're still in the fight for the Mountain West Conference Championship, and, you know, we knew we had to win this game to stay in that fight. Going back to Boise, you know, that was a tough one, and, you know, we let that one slip from us. And this is a resilient team. We're tough. We're young, but we're mature. And, you know, we're just finding our way right now.
Congratulations on a great win. Go get warm.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Josh.
All right, Jenny, they may not have a lot of weapons like they did last year, but they certainly showed a lot of heart tonight.
You know, Bill Parcells used to say there's a lot of different ways to win a football game, and you can win any game, and this was a great example of that. You've seen that one thing that Craig Bohl has instilled in this football program is that they can put 4 quarters together and in big moments and big games come through and make the plays that they're supposed to make.
Boy, what a night here. Every type of weather. High wind, heavy rain, heavy snow. Great drive. Wyoming wins it For Jenny Dell, Adam Archuleta, our entire crew, I'm Rich Waltz. This is a presentation of CBS Sports Network, 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Brent Stover, Christian Fourier, take it away.